Hello, this is Jeff DeSocio from the Talent Opportunity Connector Broadreach Executive Search and Staffing for our weekly tip for you out there. So, this week I like to talk to the executives, chief executive officers, CFOs, CIOs, CTOs, CMOs, CPOs, chief people officers out there, about your job search and being in transition. So, just like anyone else, even executives are in transition. Sometimes they're asked to leave, or they just want to do something different. They could be part of a layoff or a buyout, just like anybody else. But I think the job search is a little bit different when you're at a different level. As you get higher up the ladder, your job search is much more relationship driven than, say, like if you're a basic engineer or accountant, right? It's all about relationships and who you know. So when you attack a job search as a chief executive officer in transition, your first task is to get out there and tap your network from a human interaction personal perspective. Get out there with your colleagues, hit your alumni group, see if your college has an executive alumni group, hit them, and start building relationships. Don't necessarily say, hey, I need a job just like anyone else. Hey, I'm in transition. I'm looking to move on to another role, maybe a different industry. And, if you know anyone that I can help out, help in transition. Another approach, and this has been a very popular approach for C-level executives, is the fractional approach. I'll tell you one thing, I've seen this a lot in the past, couple years, 2, 3 years, where a lot of my colleagues, that are in those roles are fractional. They're fractional CMOs, fractional CTOs. What I like about that is you can actually test drive different industries. If you want to try get into healthcare IT, you want to get into AI, you want to get fintech, whatever it is, you could test drive that. So to kind of put down a task list for yourself is really start hitting your network from a personal perspective, build those relationships. It's all about who you know. Second thing, research fractional roles because fractional roles will get yourself in the door. And the third thing is be a mentor because it's interesting how this works. If you're mentoring, junior level executives that are up and coming, that's great experience to put as volunteer work on your LinkedIn profile, etc. And then you know and then that looks great. So there's three things you could do as a chief level person to look for your next role. And of course, there are I mentioned alumni groups a little bit earlier. There are different organizations out there for C levels um, to network, right? And then of course there's executive search firms like ourselves. That's what we focus on a lot is executive level search, and we got the network. Me and my colleagues here at Broadreach have the network out there for you to get your next role. All right, hopefully that helps. And as always, if you need help, get in touch with me, Jeff DeSocio, the Talent Opportunity Connector, Broadreach Executive Search and Staff, and have a great day.